Energy. All right.
These are spirit
figures.
It's a trill cookup.
Hi, I'm Karen.
I'm Bria.
And I'm Archie.
And this is for all the girls. Featuring the guys.
And the guy we have today is Lenny Rich. Lenny Rich in the building.
All the girls, let's do it.
All right, so Lenny Rich, go ahead and give us a little background of who you are, where you from.
Lenny Rich, Sir Lenny Rich, just Josh around the guys in here right now, but not the y'all. Yeah.
Be nice.
Government to y'all.
Yeah. From Charlotte, North Carolina. Got a clothing brand. Real creative. I do a lot behind the scenes for creatives. I've done some styling, but mostly locking in on the clothes, and you're gonna see a lot coming soon, real soon. But fake plug.
Period. No, real plug.
Yeah,
Real plug.
Big plug.
Yeah, W promo. Yeah.
All right. So with this episode today is going to be a little different. We're going to allow Lenny Rich to ask us questions rather than us questioning him or digging inside his thoughts. So he's going to dig inside our thoughts today.
You know what I'm saying? First, let me start off. I just want to say, when I was watching the behind the scenes for one of y'all other podcasts, this is a dope space. We're not going to talk about that one, but that was a great conversation. I like you guys' perspectives. It's a cool...
Tap in.
A cool space. It's a safe space. And thank you for having me, first and foremost. I appreciate this. So, First question. Everybody on the slate, right, is educated, right? All A&T grads, right?
At Geek Pride.
Yep.
Pride.
So, from the perspective of the educated black woman, how does the world look today in you guys' lens?
Doomed.
Baby came in swinging.
I said for top.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm serious though.
I mean, as far as I need different avenues, because it's a jumble full.
Let's start. We're gonna play on the education in the career field.
In the career field, I think it depends on where you're trying to go, but I do think different movements are impacting how women move in certain career spaces, like Me Too and stuff like that. So I think it's not necessarily the best time. I still feel like there's change that need to be made, but I do think there are strides to make workplaces safer for women. Agreed. And to give women an opportunity to thrive in spaces that we are not traditionally valued.
Yeah. I can agree with Archie 100% because I feel like now in the workplace you see women actually climbing that ladder. Some of the male-dominated jobs, you see a lot of women that's being introduced into that role. And not only, just women, but black women at that. Period. So,
Fact.
Kamala 2024, my niggas.
We
real heavy on her.
Hard. Yeah. But,
yeah, go, Bria. What you think?
Bria?
No, I don't have much more to add, but I completely agree. And that's what I was going to kind of hit on. I feel like we made a lot of strides over the past couple of decades that I don't think our grandmothers and even our mothers would be able to do right now. Yeah, so I definitely feel like we do have a longer way to go, but we definitely are further from where we came from.
We kicking the door down.
I'm glad you said it first, right? So y'all definitely 100% different than how your grandmothers live, how some of our mothers live. This is new age frontier for women, right?
Absolutely.
All right. So what is the mindset coming into this world now with all the newfound opportunities? Some that wasn't allotted to y'all at the time, and if they are allotted at this point, what would y'all tell young women in them positions about to step into those positions? Or overall, what do y'all value? What do y'all care about? What is the mindset? How y'all approaching this world from this new stance?
I
Ooh,
do.
That's a loaded question.
That's a loaded question, but I do feel like, well, us being millennials, I do feel like there's a little bit of a generational divide. I feel like the things that millennials want,
Yeah.
I'm not sure that, you know,
Gen Z.
Gen Z wants. It seems like they want,
Entrepreneurship.
different stuff. They want
Like,
entrepreneurship.
I think like they do not want to work for nobody.
yeah.
They don't
And I
want to
think
work.
They don't.
Yeah.
They want passive income.
Yeah.
And they don't
Agreed.
want to work.
But
Agreed.
I feel like but I kind of feel them though on some
I
things
do,
though.
too.
Like some of the stuff, like they're like, we not doing that. I'm like, I agree. You shouldn't do
Yeah.
that shit.
Like, they'll say-
what do you agree with like that? You feel them on? Like,
I feel
to
like,
bridge
well,
that- my fault.
in my workplace, when I see like younger people, they not, baby, I put my PTO in. I'm not coming. Okay,
If you accept it or reject it, I'm not coming.
But I feel like with millennials, we're like, we're lit, because we were raised by like an older generation, a boomer generation. It's like, you take your ass to work.
Go to work.
Period.
I feel like millennials are people pleasers. Like, I feel
Millennials
like
are
we
low key. We are
100%.
still
Yeah,
people
we
pleasing,
are people
and
pleasers.
Gen Z don't give a hot damn.
Examples.
they boss.
So my mom retired, 29 years, Chicago Police Department.
Okay.
Took 4 years of her retirement. She's back at work. They have an on-call phone. Now, mind you, she's off work, ladies and gentlemen, off work. And she was going out of town, but she still had to carry this phone. I said, Mom, why are you answering calls?
Right.
Oh, well, I just got to check the... But you're off work.
right. Yeah.
Well, it's only 3 of us that have the phone. And so, like, if somebody needs us, like, they're going to call 1 of 3. Well, it's 2 other people that you can call.
And if
So
you
I'm
got a
not
town, how you gonna
understanding.
get to them?
What are you helping?
So you gotta just
Second thing that I recently saw this on Instagram. There was a girl who was going for a job interview. I'm assuming she was a Gen Z.
In shorts.
In shorts.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
shorts. Right. In shorts. And they told her, hey, come back. You know.
But
maybe
they were
put some-
nice enough to say, come back tomorrow.
Right. And she was kind of like, what
What
the
am I doing
problem?
wrong?
Right.
And so I feel like there's a certain level of like pushback where it's like, I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to deal with that. Where us, it's like cringe. Like,
Yeah.
Right. But I
business
also
professional.
feel like, for example,
fact.
like now there's more spaces, like, for example, the tech space. No one gives a fuck what you look like in the
No.
tech
Nah,
space. You can
no,
come to work
yeah.
in your pajamas.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
you could be tatted down.
Yeah.
As long as you know how to code that goddamn code.
Yeah.
Nobody
That's
care
it.
what you look
You
like.
in the building.
You in
Yeah.
the building. You don't have to like really talk to people. You don't have to interface with a lot. It's really like a true introvert's dream. Right,
Yeah.
for real.
Right.
So I feel like a lot of younger people want that. Like to an extent, I do understand that. I don't want to have to be dressed down in a suit and tie every day
yeah.
to go to work. Even though I know there are older people that like
that's what they're going
that's
to do.
that's they gonna do, right? But there are some things that I feel like Gen Z to a certain point, it's like, okay, y'all people skills are a little off, and I do feel like it's a byproduct of technology. Like
100%.
we don't have to, y'all sit behind your
100%.
cell phones and talk on Instagram, and
Right.
we didn't grow up like that. Like,
And I can honestly say, like, we are right in the middle. Like, we got
Yeah.
the learning lessons from our parents, from like what they had going on, and then we're also seeing now like the technology era.
Right.
And I feel like we bridge that very well. Like,
love
I'm
that.
happy. I'm happy to.
I
be
love
a
being
millennial.
a millennial.
Because
I
we
love
can
that.
see both sides, right?
Yes.
I can go to a professional event, and then I can also kind
and
of
it's
like
stuff like
connect
that.
with my
stuff
last
that
check.
our parents taught us, like, respect will take you further than money.
Yeah.
Or, you need to be on time.
Yeah.
Like, just
those
be
values.
on time,
To
yeah.
your point, to your question, really, like those things are valuable that I think that they're embedded in us. But also, like, we're able to see a scope and a different perspective and know that we can challenge and change
Right.
some of those things and
Yeah.
know that it doesn't mean that we're viewed a certain way or seen a certain way.
Right.
Like, if I'm late, then that means I'm this, that, and the third.
I'm
But,
lazy.
like,
Yeah.
not necessarily.
Yeah.
Baby, I'm just running late.
I'm just
It's like, it was a lot going on this morning.
Right.
Okay, so I'm hearing that like it's this disconnect in like Gen Z's value and like how they present sometimes. Like it's not always in the professional space, it's not always the politically correct way to move, but in some spaces it benefits them a lot. So like
True. That is true.
let me go a different way, just seeing how like or going more into the disconnect between the millennials and Gen Z. How do y'all feel about y'all younger sisters, not by blood, but how do y'all feel about y'all younger sisters and how they move out here in the current mindset when it come to that shit?
Like, what?
Come to what? Like,
Right.
Yeah,
I need
so
I need a
like,
lane.
so we talking about like you say like Gen Z's people skills are kind of bad, so like they everyday social interactions and stuff. So like relationships and stuff, moving through that, you know, it's
We're gonna slide in the DM as a Gen Z.
okay.
Facts.
Like we're
You know what I'm
sliding
saying?
DMs. Like
and then just the differences in just like how their culture or like how their everyday life is like goes. Like, how do y'all feel about how women navigate that space? Like the Gen Z women.
I feel like technology is raising Gen Z. Like I mean, that's just 100%. And then I think like kids are infatuated with social media. So like when you look nowadays, the girls that's going to middle school, high school, like belly shirts, bust down,
downs.
like face beat, like you
Better than me, baby.
Who's waking up to go to school to beat my face down? We wasn't thinking about that.
Girl, you're 15. Like,
I mean, bust
Like,
down 40
okay.
inches, like that's crazy.
Couldn't
to
wear
me.
none of that.
Exactly, and it's just they're like, for instance, one of my associates at work, she said one of her son's classes in high school is strictly on the computer. It's no teacher, like a teacher, like it's like a TA assistance, but in high school, like all of them on that period is like them learning on the computer,
No instruction.
like no nothing, like
Yeah.
the TA will come in, check on them periodically, see if they got any questions, but besides that, it's like that's not okay. Right. Like, and I feel like they're based off the internet. Like if the internet shut down today, I don't know what they'll do.
I feel like it's like good and bad with everything. Like I do feel like, you know, the younger women, they're exposed to so much, but I feel like the internet gives you such an opportunity to learn about so much stuff and learn how other people live, and you're not really confined in your bubble. Like I know what somebody in China is doing right now, or the things that they're doing in their culture, and how I can implement that in my own life.
Right.
Like I think that's very cool. I think, however, the bad thing about the internet is the algorithm. So like I only get the things that I want to see. Right. So it kind of can limit your perspective a little bit. If I'm looking for a certain thing, that's all it's gonna feed me. It's not gonna feed me opposing views or something like that.
I think that in the social media phase, what I'm more so seeing on top of everything y'all said is the personas that are present, that are now adopted into who I think I am, and now I don't really know who I am.
Ooh, that's that therapy speak.
Right? Like,
like you Instagram lit. Look at on Instagram.
Like I have fun on Instagram, but I don't have fun in real life. Like I'm that girl on Instagram, but am I really that girl in real life? Like I feel I have all these insecurities because I don't know how to socially interact with people, or I don't feel like I'm this, what is that, and the third. Or social media is portraying a certain persona that I don't feel like I fit.
Right.
So now I have anxiety, and now I have depression, and now I'm having these thoughts, and now like it's a whole thing. And so I feel like there's a big influence on the culture as to how I should be or what I am not. And it's like this tug of war battle between the two.
I hate that. I do feel bad for like the younger generation, young women specifically, because it's a lot of pressure, and we didn't grow up like that. So
you
like,
gotta have a bust down,
you gotta have
BBL.
right,
You gotta have all of that. You gotta come in with designer.
You gotta
you gotta come in,
make $1 million by 20 years old.
Like, yeah,
you
like
got
crazy.
It's a lot of pressure, especially for women, and so like I don't fault them for kind of being how they are, because we just didn't have that opportunity. Like cyberbullying still like blows my mind.
Yeah.
To the point where if I'm going to school, I'm already being bullied. Y'all niggas gotta like plague me at home.
Like, leave me alone.
Leave me alone. Like,
just
bro,
bully me at school.
bro, like that's mind boggling
Yeah.
to me. And I feel like you said, like people don't necessarily. I interact a certain way on the internet because I mean it's a little bit of safety behind beating my keyboard. Like I can say some shit and I mean
Twitter fingers.
right.
Twitter fingers.
And I kind of
You ain't like that in real life.
You ain't like that in real life.
I like that in real life.
Right, I say that all the time. Some of these kids ain't never got a fist to the face before.
Yeah.
Like, for real. Like, and I
punched
feel
in
like,
the mouth.
especially for young women, like it's a lot of pressure to like keep up with this persona, and the people that you're keeping up with is not even a real persona.
Yeah.
Or you keeping with somebody who's fucking 45.
Exactly.
And
you're 12.
You're 12.
Like, stop.
that pressure to keep up those personas, are you seeing a lot? And like, do you deal with young women in your practice? Like, how are you seeing that manifesting in young women? Like the pressures with the internet to look like this or be this or keep
all the
up
time
with the Joneses.
Yeah,
like
absolutely. I can think of a particular client now. She just went off to college, and definitely some of those things, right? So like how do I view myself? Like, what do I think others think of me? Body image things. Like, I think that's a very
Do I care what
consistent
other
thing.
people think about me?
Correct. Like, it's a lot of factors that go along, but it's all in comparison. Yeah.
And I think that's back to what you're saying. Like nowadays, this generation is a tug of war with self.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
who am I? Am I her? Nope, not her. Like, do I want to be this person? Do people view me this person? If they viewing me this way, I'm gonna be this way. Like,
Right.
yeah.
And where do I get the space to explore who I am? But let's keep it hot, right? Because folks our age and older don't know who they are.
Still struggling.
Still trying to figure it out.
Still
So I'm not blaming, I'm not saying just it's a solely them problem, but I think there is this space where you can be whoever you want to be or be who you see. And it's kind of like Simon Says.
Yeah.
And it's just like, at the end of it, when I'm out in this real world, I don't know how to interact. I don't know who I am. I don't know what I value.
But I feel like that's where, like, inside the household, that's when, like, a present family, like a present parent, like, they need to be there because they have to be able to, like, bridge that gap with you. Like, I can't tell you who you are, but I
who
can
are the
guide
parents
you
of these Gen Zers?
Us millennials.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
I know.
So it's just like, I feel like right now, like, I feel like COVID put parents in a, like, different box. Yeah. Because it's just like, okay, I see now, like, I could give my child a tablet. They'll be fine.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like a parent has to be present. Like, a present. Not even if it's not a parent. Someone in that child's life need to be present and be able to guide them. But right now, I just feel like we're stuck in the box of this is where everything is. Like, I can give you a tablet, sit down. I can do whatever I want to and get you on social media, get out my face, you know? But I think that's what I think. I think
Archie, how you feel
us
like,
millennials are we're getting very lax with this internet thing.
So like Archie, building off of what Karen is saying, like you need that structure, that parent around, that guidance. How do you feel like us being millennials, even if it's not our kids, because everything is in the box right now. We on social media too.
Very true.
They see what we doing right now. You know what I'm saying? So like, how you feel like the gap can be bridged from the generations that like, all right, we had the last bit of sense and we can actually relate.
Yeah.
The elders we can go talk to the elders too. We got the respect, of the elders. Like, how can we bridge this gap with you? Because essentially, like, I feel like millennials, we're in the decision-making seat. We
trying to get there.
But
boomers. The boomers are booming.
But as time goes on, and
it's gonna be us.
We get into our mid-30s, and it's like, all right, we done did all the fun stuff. We took the trips. We checked all the boxes of youth, and it's like, all right, what do we do now? These are gonna be the people that we leaving it to.
Right.
So like, how do
I'm
we?
scared.
I
That's
think.
what I'm saying. How do we bridge that gap so that fear is kind of minimized?
I think, and I say all this all the time, there are no safe spaces for children and adolescents on the internet. I think the internet is too new. It's too new of a space where we haven't really regulated it, or like we still in like the experiment space of the internet and technology and stuff.
About 20 years.
There are no safe spaces for kids on the internet. If you think about it, it's kind of hard to regulate it, right? Because you don't know who's behind on the other side of that screen. Right. It's hard. So I think we have to integrate more oversight. I think that's the only way we do it, is more oversight in places that are meant for kids. Like, I feel like when we were growing up, I feel like even though it was just the start of the internet, there were spaces that we had. Like, if I'm 8 years old, I'm going to go on Barbie.com. That's what I'm interested in.
Right.
Or I'm going to go, play my little games because that's what I'm interested in right now. Like, none of those websites exist anymore. I don't know if anybody knows that.
No, they
but
don't.
none of those
you
sites
can, like, dress
exist.
the dog.
Yeah. None of those sites
crazy.
exist anymore. Like, that's not a thing. And I feel like we kind of all get siphoned until we all using Instagram. Just like I feel like now there are not a lot of places for like teens and adolescents to shop. Like,
no,
those girls,
we all
we all shopping at the same places. You're 14 and I'm 30. We both on Fashion Nova. We both on Fashion Nova. Like, there's no place.
You getting the same wig?
Like, cause we was shopping at Justice, like,
like
Limited
there's no
Parade,
space. Literally, there is
Seal.
nothing out here that's literally geared towards children. Like, there's not a lot of spaces like that. We have cartoons. We got Cartoon Network. we got Nickelodeon, whatever, and then people still are like, debating over the shows they show there.
Yeah,
But
they're starting to stretch too much.
Right. Like, and it's like how much we want our kids to see. How much, and I feel like I go back and forth about this, about how much you want your kids to know about the world and preparing them for the actual world. Like, just because, I don't like it doesn't mean Lennox is not going to go out into the world and experience it.
Right.
Just because I don't agree with it or those are not our values don't mean he can't go to school and go see it. Gotcha. And that's also the hard thing about the internet and stuff like that. I can tell, like, I don't plan on Lennox having an Instagram or none of that. I don't want him to have none of that until he, like, goes away to college. But he still's gonna see the content. Yeah. Like, he's gonna go to school.
How you feel like that would, like, affect him not
having it like everybody else?
Yeah, right. So it's just like, now I'm left out. Yeah.
Because now it's like, instead of like not being able to go to the party if you're not on the internet.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's like you gonna sneak now. Yeah. Now you're gonna sneak. And I don't want him to be in that space. So I feel like we just need to A, more oversight, B, be more honest with our kids about, I don't think, we were the test dummy generation, but like internet safety is like a big thing. And it's like, I need to know that you're literally using this platform responsibly. Yeah. I need to know, just like, handing a 16-year-old a set of car keys. Like, I need to know that you are using this responsibly. I need to know that if you get into a situation, I can trust you to make a decision that is going to keep you safe at the end of the day.
But also I think too, is like, and I'm not a parent, but I think understanding that stuff is gonna happen.
That stuff is gonna happen.
And then are you coming to me so we can figure it out?
So we can figure it out.
A
safe space to
creating
figure it out.
that safe space at home.
Absolutely. But I do think sometimes, and I think this might be better with millennials because we kind of been in that space where it's like, I know what it's like to like, oh, everybody has Instagram and I don't. Or something like that. Like, I've been there. So I do think being more collaborative with our kids, especially with, this younger generation, like, they're a lot smarter than we give them credit for. Oh, yeah, they have a lot more exposure to stuff than we did. Like, they just have more and are able to see more and do more. So I also say that all the time. Like, if you're not willing to change, you're not going to be able to keep up. So, like, be more collaborative with your kids. Of course, do oversight as best as you can. Of course, stuff is going to happen. We're not going to catch everything. They're going to go to school. They're going to get somebody going to tell them, ain't no Santa Claus. Like, that's just the way life works. Somebody's going to tell them that. But just be more collaborative and open with your kids and explain to them, like, here's why this is dangerous. Okay? Here's the things that I'm seeing. And also, like, encourage your kids to, like, live life in real life. Yeah.
Like, don't live through the internet.
Don't live through the internet. Go call your friends. Right. Like, please.
And I think Drake said it best, like, in that song where he was, what song was that? When he was saying, basically, she'll take a picture, like, when she go on a trip, and then, post it later, like, she's still on that trip. Yeah. Like, no.
Right. Like, you don't have to live your life for the internet.
For the internet.
You don't have to live your life through the internet. And I want you to have fun in real life, not for the internet. Right. I noticed that the last time we went back to A&T and we were talking to some of the younger students there, and they were like, our parties are trash. Everybody just stand on the side on their phones.
I'm like, baby, we had a time.
Okay.
Baby.
Bid it over.
We had a time. They don't really know how to, like, socialize and interact with each other.
Do they like do
no cameras?
Huh? Do they still like do gym jams?
I
think so, but I don't think anybody dances, which is whack.
Whack.
That's whack as hell. But okay.
So let's switch gears for a second. I think that was like a great way to wrap up this section with like segueing or like bridging the gap between like the kids and then the internet and like making sure it's safe spaces for them to like explore this through. But I wanna hit a different gear. Okay. How do y'all feel about the current? I don't wanna objectify, but how y'all feel about the current product of the black male?
Well, baby, my black male is my king.
I do wanna point out, Karen is married. Is married as well.
Yes.
And
it's married in the future.
In the future.
Single.
TBD.
So, right. I got some questions just specifically for you because specific case. But who wants to take that one first? How y'all feel about the current state of the black male, your counterpart out here. On a relationship, we're gonna go a relationship standpoint, on just an everyday interaction standpoint, and just like, how you feel about, your brother.
I feel for him. I have a very soft, compassionate space for men.
Right.
Because I don't think most times a lot of men get to be their authentic selves because of the pressures of the world.
Okay.
So I have a lot of compassion and empathy, although y'all be doing some fuck shit sometimes. But, and I think there's just a lot of self-discovery and a lot of, like, there are spaces emotionally that I feel like y'all are beginning to come to and come to terms with that are making you guys better men. But I have a lot of sadness, but hope
For
for you
black men.
guys. Yeah.
Okay.
I think like piggybacking off her, I feel like black men is starting to figure out like what a black man is, right? And I think it's been so long of like the black man, how we go to the black man is the head of the household, they pay all the bills, I think it's starting to like, all right, I can let a woman lead, you know what I'm saying? I think they're starting to step into that era. I love it for him. Like I love it for him, but and I also feel like this goes back to check out our podcast. It goes back to mental health. Like, and I love that for like black guys that's really trying to now tap into like the mental health portion and figuring out exactly like what's wrong.
Right.
Like a lot of things that you didn't feel safe to say before. I feel like that's starting to become like a safe space in the world now for you guys to show emotions and be able to be a little bit more vulnerable. Not saying all the way, but I think it's like baby steps.
Right.
So I love that for y'all.
We cracking the door. Cracking the door.
I feel the same. I feel like, at least like in our age group, I'm very hopeful for black
Yeah.
men. I do feel like they're trying to change or do things different. I feel like, honestly, our generation is, black people. We want to
Yeah.
do stuff differently. We want to go to therapy. We don't want to be, depressed and scared and sad like our parents were.
Pushing through.
We just pushing, bulldozing through stuff. Like, I think we want a better quality of life. And as we learn more about how to take care of ourselves, I do think eventually we'll get there. Like, I have a lot of hope for black men in the future, for sure.
I agree.
I appreciate the hope as a black man.
We got hope in you, Lenny Rich.
No, we good. We facts. But no. So like, it seemed no, because I'm trying to process
So
everything.
I have a question for you.
Oh,
what
okay.
what do you feel like the future is for the black man?
I think the black man definitely is becoming. I think it's becoming cool in our communities to be certain things that weren't cool before and kind of were like shunned upon before, like AKA like being smart,
Yes.
being accountable,
Yes.
being mature, like, and it's almost things like if you were on these things earlier, you were like steps ahead, but now it's becoming more of the norm. For it's like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna hold our brothers accountable. We're gonna have hard talks, and then we're gonna say, all right, bro, this is where you wrong. This is where you wrong. Okay, bet. And it's more constructive and getting to the place where, not to say like it's a fight for leadership, but I think as black men figure out who they are and they can be who they are with no holds barred, it'll get to a point like you saying where we can get there. But I think at this point, like, we're still kind of same way, and like the internet is still young, like the black man like moving around like in certain spaces, and I'll say like outside the corporate world, like speaking for myself, because like I'm a creative, like I'm essentially an entrepreneur. Like, as much as like I'm on it, is how far my shit is gonna go, so like
That's a good point.
getting to that point where it's like we have to lead ourselves, like kind of like fuck leading the family right now. Like, can you lead yourself?
Okay.
That's the point.
You know what I'm saying? And I
bar.
think black men are like getting to that point where it's like, all right, we need to be solid all the way around the board. Like, not first, but like always going this way, and like this like fleeting goal, but like as the closer you get to it, like the better and better you are, because it's like not something you'll actually grasp, but like if you're in the pursuit of this, you'll always be continuing to get better.
Well, that's a bar, but they also telling us to rip it.
Oh my god.
So do you want to do a card?
We got like 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
No cards. No
No
cards.
cards.
No card today. No card today.
But
Thank you so
go ahead,
much.
Bria. Say your famous line.
Oh, they telling us to wrap it up.
We gotta wrap it up.